So 5:05, call the meeting to order. Just want to let you know that the purpose of this workshop is for the board members to ask any questions or raise any concerns that they might have about the merger and the merger study. And then we would be glad to entertain any questions or concerns that you would thankfully included all of them. And so I'll start it off with Dr. Fitzgerald to give kind of a summary of what the process that we're looking towards doing at this point.
Yes, just to reiterate what Dr. Brody said, that we have a board forum. Board workshop. Just to look after the study went out last Thursday to everyone, which gave you an early chance for the last thing to take a look at it. And any questions or anything like that. The board wanted to meet today for the joint meeting to discuss any questions and discuss things they might want to ask the they were saying at 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, there'll be a joint meeting with both boards and the merger firm since the findings of the report of the study. And then the board would decide at that point to vote to move forward with tonight is not, the ability to vote. It's the board's to vote, let the community vote to move forward with the problem. And then after that, our regular board meeting, and people are welcome from public as well. We'll be here as well. So Ken Jones will be here the whole time, and we'll meet jointly at 6 o'clock. Fort Plain is in our boardroom. Any questions or things they would with to ask the merger. So that's pretty much what these are. And then after that, if everything was to move forward with the board saying let's vote, then we would come out over the next day or two with community forums, things of that nature. We would come out and ask questions. We would present more detailed information on certain things, clarify more things, because we know there's been a lot going on in the last 6 months. We just want to make sure. Right. Second, important decision. And I preface by saying this all the time. Please email me, call me, reach out anytime if you have a question. I think sometimes the worst thing you can do is go on Facebook and start a chat. You don't even know the information. I always say this: if you're paying that and you figured out your group money, but you can go on Facebook and tell everybody, and we can call the bank and ask to help. Right? So consider me the bank. Right? Call me and ask me questions. We can help clarify it. We don't want to recognition out there today. And there's some issues going just because that's. And then I encourage anyone, please reach out to me. Email me, from the website, wall, and I'll be back.
How are we going to increase the number of veterans? Seems to be a lot of great things happening. And we're together. I'm just wondering how that having questions. They mentioned anything about that? But I want to talk about it too. Some of the teachers.
I think it's all going to be independent. And our practice, New York State, where the process works, in act that you don't have a board of education superintendent in place to do that. But here's the great, right? now of being local community to want clarification, and two, be a part of that discussion process. It needs to think that by so we're look at part of it. And there's two, they have three part of the field. And we as a board said that they want to keep anything in our, that that's yeah, there's restrictions on positions like all of them. I guess it will matter the best education process. So, and also, if you look at enrollment, our kindergarten versus second grade enrollment is fine. So what is is you won't see over 100 kids in the 8 or 10 years in class. People measure know. So when you look at total numbers, we're not talking astronomical numbers, right? So yeah, those based on the program. You do that. And again, remember this. If you merge, you have that top position. Like you have based on change. How you start. Yeah. So, you go on with 120. We'll go through all that. And the whole second. Going and all that. I don't really have anything. I like the courage. Where it's things like this type of thing. Talk about things that the Northern District might consider doing. Okay. That's what's second consider when you evaluate. Because obviously that basis for our decision on the first not will be willing to be beneficial. Not sad. And the answer is yes, that moving forward. To the good make a difference. All of it. So I share something about what previously has not been the matter of we have reached. Those guys he's talking about too. They did a really nice job what the state education department is moving to. The state education department, you can see that the graduation that they're moving to over the next couple of years, next 3 or 4 years, is a portion of the grad things that we're doing work pathways for students, different avenues for students. They're moving in that direction anyway. So what the department company, they looked at those things, tied into what we they did a really about the big picture where states can have a district look like in 2 to 4 years. So, 127 for recommendation, you look at people. I mean, just like but thoughts.
First in the merge. I know the last meeting I said that you have. Sure. So at last meeting, like first one when they brought up the merger and stuff, they said it could go two ways. And it would actually go the way where you're saying you start a whole new district, whole new superintendent, whole new board. How does that go about? Is it one superintendent? It's one big board? And how did the superintendent get hired? And how do we go with the board process? Then how do we determine how many teachers we need, how many teachers we're gonna lose? How many buildings we're gonna use, how many we're not gonna use? We have 2 bus garages, nice bus garages, buses. I mean, all that, I have not answers, and that doesn't come in anything in the 120-page report. And those are a lot of language.
Well, I'll start. But basically what will happen, tonight we will probably have to go to a couple of words about whether to have a straw vote.
What community?
You all that.
Now, another question, if it was to go to vote, does it have, can Harry and Fort Plain both have to say yes?
Yeah.
In order for
And then the next step would be have the final vote, if that happens. Now, the next step would be to have the final vote, probably sometime in April, and that would say the merger goes forward. Now, one of the things that I'm very happy about is our schedule that we positioned for a possible merger, which is that it's going to take place in September 25, it's taking place September 26. In July, and what I like about that, give us a whole year to plan the transition with as little problem as possible. How that happens, there will be a vote for state budget in May. You'll also vote to elect a candidate for the county school board for our the next year. This will be separate for the next year. In the final vote for the third possible also vote how many members would there be on a joint school board? We have 5, 7, or 9, and what would their term be? 3, 4, or 5 years. Now, in addition to voting yes or no on the merger, designating that. Once that's designated, assuming the merger goes, gets possible in both paths, then there would be a school board election. Or that would happen both current districts, and then the top 5, 7, or 9 candidates would be elected, and their would be to plan and implementation of the merger. And also to elect superintendent, the superintendent of the first. And I think that
that.
Yeah, so when you officially started the district, so you would start at the Board of Education, then you would have to hire a superintendent. You put a budget together next, around the time next year, right now, for the new district. And then you would officially start on July 1st, 2026. What happens with the rest of those things are unanswered, right? Like, what would we do? We hear a lot of clamor about, be nice to have elementary school district, right? That's something the community can really push aside, right? Say both elementary school. And I'm just saying, say when that, say when. You could probably start doing the math and start to figure, all right, there'd be probably 1 middle school, 1 high school, right? Because it would make sense to have 2 and 2. And then you make that decision as well as a community, as a board, and as a new superintendent. Current contracts will roll over. What I mean by that is you have to, I don't want to say it specifically, but if somebody had a contract, like say for example, I wasn't chosen as a superintendent position, and my contract is through this time, they would still have to honor my contract and have me finish something that. That kind of makes sense. And then it would kind of take off from there. So there's definitely leap of faith with the merger because you can't answer all the questions. But here's what we did in 2 districts. You look back at the merger, most mergers were not start that clock. I can imagine 6 months saying, go. So we really pushed that 7 months we can have some really good planning and conversation with communities and put a board in place and possibly a superintendent to kind of have those conversations, make it really work, you know, because there's so many hiccups anyway, right? You want to give yourself as much time as you can to look at the big picture, right? And remember, the bottom line is, and that's number one. And then our, you know, our faculty, staff, close that, right? But our kids are, that's why we're here. So that answer.
Yeah, and also, so what is the reasoning for the best interest for the children most of this reason?
I think it's three things. First, two big things. My personal thing. Looking at everything, one, financial. In the next 6 or 8 years, the number of donated, like they donated. This year, we're looking to get $65,000 in foundation. Fort Plain is expected to get 0. Last year, Fort Plain got 0, we got 0. So increase. Yeah. So financially, and keeping the tax cap, that's a tax cap around. Both districts have kept under the tax cap, which is pretty good tax cap. That comes at a cost too, because after a while, the money isn't there. So one is definitely financial, solid future. Two is to expand programs for kids. The world's going to change. Our kindergarten is going to grow to 2037. Okay, it's hard to wrap up. We have to get education ready now for those kids who are going to graduate in 2037. Here's an incredible stat: 85% of jobs, 85% of jobs graduate from kindergarten. But we're getting it ready. We don't know yet. So we have to be really forward thinking in our program and our advancement. The next state is teacher recruitment. I'll give you a very interesting stat. 81 jobs have been posted over the last 3 years. 81 jobs. On average, 2.42 certified candidates apply for each job. 2.42. That's tough to pull from. Now we're posting for English job, posting English job. What do you think? Who's applying? Probably the both places, right? So now we're fighting for each other, as opposed to getting the best faculty staff we possibly can. So I think it really has to do with those three things. Maybe we got to think future, right? Yeah, everything's fine now. If I got a kid in 9th grade or 2nd grade, everything's fine right now. Right? But in 5 or 6, 7 years, what does it look like? And our job is and say, what can we afford our kids? Give our kids the best opportunities to succeed, not only here, but for the rest of their life and outside of the age area they be. And can we do that? If we can financially in 6 or 8 years, if the current model stays the way it is, you know. So those are the reasons. Big loud.
Life. Side that. Right. They want to go back. But what my understanding, when we elected before, they will make private decisions. All the happening buildings. So the public decides that one day, walk. But he was first 5 years of education. And that's there being other than just for anything for the hard. Like
No. And that's frustrating, right? There's definitely a big, but as I said, you know, hopefully I think they are. They're going to start to listen to these talks, state education, they start to realize that. What the great and become strong with recommendation, right? And if you look at the history, say this. If you're really strong about certain things, very rarely the community's voice is spoken. So, if we're really strong in strong piece of community, I or would be left, but would be around. So I think sometimes it's very tough for us to take that into faith, but we've got to believe that that would be the case. And putting a board in place to make sure those recommendations are followed through. But again, that's the reason why we're looking at 6 months to make sure we complete that. So yeah, I think it's a good way. You know, it would be nice to have. So.
I had heard, I heard thinking financially is in great shape and Canada area is financially in great shape. So I think we can, why is that positive for this merger?
Financially in great shape because of the reserve situation. Yes, right now. Financially in great shape is stay here. If the model stays the same, no. It just, it's not, right? It's like our budgets. Your revenue coming in, your expenses going out, right? They're going to be, contract rates. Going to be programs, programs for our students, something that we have to fulfill. There's going to be building projects, but that type of stuff. So yes, financially in good shape today, right? We want to think 10 years down the road. We don't want to, and use it, you don't want to hurt.
That's giving advantage of doing it right now instead of 5 years ago.
Yep.
That's yeah.
Let's build something that, this is my perspective. I would try my education to be a visionary for the community. My thought. Why not build the best? Why not build the best that we can have? We're just connecting to all of them. And this opportunity, I think, allows us to do that. A financial solvency also allows taxpayers to all know Johnstown 3 or 4 years ago, right? 28% increase, 15% increase, and we don't have to get there and help. I think it was in our history of this district, we have gone up 5.9% a year in our tax. Every year. Right? Some years we're 10%. Whoops. And when times were good back in the day, now that doesn't matter. Okay, it's just following. We go up an average of 1.9 past 5 years. 1.9 for us is about, be it correct me if I'm wrong, $140,000. Right? About that? Yeah. So if we go out at 5.9, it's $400,000. Less that, because we've been able to financially do it. But guess what happens as years go on? Your tax is built up every year. As you get 2%, it continues to grow. That's starting to catch us. It's starting to catch us in the very near future in terms of where you're going to come up with financing. So now is the time to look at all of the programs and develop something that we can definitely do and sustain in the future. Like that's the main, one of the main reasons. That answer. And reserves are great. Once you start dipping into them, that's when you're in trouble. Right? And you got to have reserves for 2 reasons, right? Who's caves in? Right? Or kids coming, we have bus to Albany, Utica, and Schenectady, and 3 of them are wheelchair. And now it's $500,000 at your bottom line, right? And we have no control. So you have those funds, or you're in trouble. We can't raise prices this year. Not like a hammer. That's $2 to raise it to $2.20. We get is what we get, right? And so when you get through the year, it's a lot. have to be shipped off to another area they had. We got to come up with that one. That's nothing to do with this year. Take it back to the taxpayers.
For clarity, if we were to five separate times. We are allowed as a public here like this to figure out they pull responsibility. Power to be.
Yeah. They would make the final adult decision. But again, look at big picture. You have the power to elect that board, and you have the power not. So if somebody wants to get in there, something totally different than we want, I'm not allowed for it. And again, in history, murders, that doesn't usually happen.
So the question is, so if somebody on this board wants to be on a new board, do they have to step down this board for the year, or can they be and run on both and be a part of both? So, yes.
Yep.
So, and then in an instant, you could also run for being the superintendent of the merger and still be our superintendent of PHO.
You could.
That's still,
And here's the catch-22 of it. Wow, you can't pay them. So you can have a pro bono come in and say, please, you know what I mean? Have somebody internally, they don't say, you have the power, maybe you put it internally here for a couple of days, while the superintendent. That's why they probably do somewhere, like you said, December, January. I would assume April, May, and then it goes like first. But I sure that's there, right?
so you still advertise within.
Well, sure. No, I'm sure whatever the board on it, but I'm sure there's a problem on it. Do a search.
Any questions from others?
There's a lot of what?
Sorry, not looking.
So, same redundancies. Efficiencies of scale. I'm familiar with education, I understand what that means. And so I read, okay, we'll only have one superintendent, we'll have only, one group of staff. Makes sense. Then I'm reading the side thinking, which quite honestly not to be Debbie Downer, but I think that I'm reading finance side thinking. Because as you said, we need to remain financially viable. We are dealing with two communities with a very high percentage of financial disadvantaged families. We don't have a huge. So in one thing, I'm hearing, we're reducing the number of administrators, we're reducing redundancy, we're going to save money. And then I'm reading, we have programs. This is great. But okay, I'll bring age people to do the same job. It's probably less efficient educationally for and to have a great career. Yeah. But it's ending up being no savings that I'm seeing. I'm reading in one of the lines, the page it was on, about need to make sure that they resist. They resist the temptation to lower taxes during those first years. in order to remain financially stable as a school. So then it says that the expenses is one of the problems right now is higher income staff, especially in the areas of special education. And then I read, well, we could save money by some smaller extra space to bring it back from out of district special education placement, which requires what? Higher income special education, which you're already saying in the study. So there's just a lot that seems like it's, okay, we're gonna do this, and that's gonna be great. And then we're gonna come here with this. And it just seems like a lot of.
Some of the things you brought up, like district, right? You would need one. That's what we're talking about, consolidating, administrative, type. In terms of program back, we're talking about, like right now, we have, hosting programs that are just higher title. That they come in, they start, we gain revenue. Well, those kids are here, but some of those aren't kids that we send out in the programs. So that, for those programs, one item, you're actually getting revenue. So that's like the second thing. Third thing, tax. Yes, you wouldn't sit there and lower tax. The reason why you can keep taxes at minimum, and you can keep them under the tax cap for a long time. Because if you don't do that, that's like it's sort of related to tax. So here's what you won't get. Real, that's just my up. I got a 20% all you. What should happen? Is you should be able to set yourself up. So that's not a contradictory. If you lower, you go to zero. I'll give you an example. Say you are tax base 10 million. You go to zero. Next year it's 10 million. Right? And next year you go to zero, 10 million. Third year you go up to percent, 200,000. You've only gone up 200,000 in 4 years. If you go up 1.5% each year, just, listen, this is where we live, but it's not 12%. We continue that climb, make sure we stay solid. That's what we're talking about. Not lowering, but not raising. And what's great about our district, when merge districts are created, there's usually a difference between tax rates. We're only like 8%, which is fantastic. Usually, you have to equalize that. We would take the extra allowance, equalize it, so it doesn't. It stays stable. But then you still get your minimum increase. Stay forever. Because again, we're always saying, wait a minute, right? We're thinking 20 years down the road, not 4. And if you have any other ones to think of, please reach out. Because I think you're saying some of those confusing. But let me answer those as much as I can, or I can correct it. Because I'd much rather have it get that information and make that informed decision. One of the why I would like to have that here, including the version of food, throughout the place elsewhere. Save us on a by teacher. They have a teacher, have a button, and so there's a whole lot of that they have been here trying to figure out all this leading people, and then also how to do that. But I think the first part, I think if we have to go, it's much better. Maybe you know what I'm understanding most difference. Yeah.
I understand. Okay. It's just that it really felt like every bit of money that we were potentially saving looked like it was being funneled right back into else. And we're saying that we need to combine in order to remain financially stable. That didn't really seem like it was going to accomplish that. I guess it's really the short version of what I was saying.
And I think it would just to you're looking at 9 kids in the class, two districts for one's 220, make it 200. You can see just sort of attrition. Not the just getting small. That's what attrition eventually people will retire. You probably would need just maybe you won't need 90, you need 80, right? So people retire through the process. We can fill that allocation when it's done. Right? That'll be over time.
Then we turn around. Yes, we save the money on question term, but now we're.
No, you still have the. For example, right now, there's like go back to the article for deciding yourself, get yourself there. We really want it to be ours, right? And we're going to keep all 4 no matter what, right? As opposed to, I don't know, go to another department and say, this is total numbers. We had 8 teachers, now we have 7, because we started at 190 kids. We don't need 8, we only need 7. That's how you write. You know, so yeah, you can keep the initial program in some places, but you probably reduce it. Plus administration, like I said, if you were to have, like right now, we have most programs in both districts, we actually generate revenue for each one. And again, for kids that would have been. So please reach out. No, we talk. Yeah. It's all like it's all. Anyway, no, I respond. I didn't get stereotypes or just community committee. But just to list off some of the things that are going on in the community here, like one of the things I wanted to point out is what Dr. Davis was talking about is not, in fact, it's not like things are not just going into education and in public service slowly right now. We put out jobs, public works, everything department, we throw the harder areas. Looking at the stagnating presence is how do we lower area. Going to answer area obviously growing settings. There's the erratic river. That, now it's contracted, but again, the virus, all there's a larger student body resource by district is the way that I don't think it's really high in the sky. A lot of money are involved and different grant. But this is the steady problem. Fire or anything else. So I think the way better is working together. But say, with being honest, and if you remember if they are electing your neighbors, people are going to be on the board 9th Street, show up overnight, get residency, get on board. So this is the city of Schenectady. The person you're going to look like probably the person you're going to hear is going to be about, your driveway. So you have weeks. So, and I'm going to put Grant on the spot. The district has been, taking a lot of initiatives on its own to try and save money for its taxpayers. So I think Grant can take part of that grant. Obviously, we're in the energy savings for the district. And those things all maybe would be one that I think the program just gets work together. Well, page, no one else. As well.
the school board, where we give a lot of details about the murder, and, the board members will have an opportunity to ask questions. And then we will have a vote, likely, about whether to proceed with the, vote. That starting at 6, and look for it. And here are. So, if you can, come in and
Is everybody understanding? It's probably not that there's information. Everybody, the board is voting tonight just to move forward with the public. You're not making any decision on it. They're making a decision to let the public vote on it. That kind of makes sense. Now, after the straw vote and last, there'll be 2 more votes on top of that. Okay, here.
you can go to your house. Thank you all.
Well, Russ,
Joint meeting. We'll, first with Dr. Dave 16, who is superintendent of education services located in Montgomery County. State about anything that is raised in this meeting. And then we will plan a vote. Stephen Warner, that's the program. Take it away, Dr. Siski.
Hey, first order of business. But say it every time. It's part of our motions. Coming back. Central and Western. No many people in the room. I super Fort Plain, really enjoyed it there. So we spent enough time in the Canterbury School District. I know what we had here about a year ago. 2 boards convened at a motions to discuss whether they want to do the best thing, whether or not they were feasibility study. Ultimately, they did agree that they had that study done. You are not here tonight to vote on whether or not managed area and Fort Plain merged school districts. Instead, you're here tonight to hear a presentation from the consultants who authored the study over the last 5 months, and then consider the 2 school boards consider whether or not to move to an informal assessment of community support school district. It's not a binding vote. It is a necessary step to eventually pursue a binding. But before I turn it over to the consultants from leadership solutions advice, I want to acknowledge some small. This study wasn't conducted for free, and while SED does encourage these types of discussions, there isn't a funding stream. This study was funded 2 ways: the local government efficiency grant and through $30,000 in holiday aid from the smallest office. So your districts have not cost this study today. I'd also like to introduce very quickly the coordinator of educational services, or aid services, David Elliott from the education department, and his associate, title was associate school business manager, Maureen Doria, who are here tonight to observe, also answer questions that board members may have. And with that, I will turn things over, even though I spent some time preparing all the consultants, what's bullpen installed, and Dr. Jason Andrews, who is superintendent in the Windsor School District, and also is the president of Leadership Advisors LLC, or Leadership Solutions Advisors LLC, will take it from here.
Give it to Matt. I'm gonna steal it. That's what I facilitator. So part of my goal right here. Why do you think you're doing it? What the suitability study really was designed to do back in August? They are remember this. Go to the star, said that anytime we go through this process, a lot of noise out there, show you the star. I suspect, remember, you probably know where it is because you've already seen it. So if I take that away, most people can still see it, right? Once you've been shown something through all the noise, it's a little stickier, right? It's a little stickier. So the purpose of our feasibility study is spending months here with you, pilot committee, with your administrator, is really just sitting, right? All this noise, you can find these nuggets that can help guide you in your thinking about what should happen next. I just want to highlight one of them because it was such a beautiful golden nugget for one of your students. On October 30th, we had a focus group of students from both buildings, both the high school, and we just kind of listened to them. One of those nuggets cut through the ways of why, and why are we thinking about it, came from one of your kids. The kids really basically said, right, like, hey, I don't even think it's about us. I think it's about my kids. So we should just keep that in mind. He wasn't advocating for or against. He was just saying, like, that's the fact of what we should be doing from one of your students. So, Dr. Andrews will give you a little bit more about what we're doing, and then you'll hear from each member of our team. It's a lengthy report. I'm not going to go through every single page. You know how to read, how to access things. We're just going to try to give you the highlights and orient you to the process in the report. Thank you, Matt. So, as you guys said, my name is Jason Andrews, and I'm currently in my 20th superintendent of the Windsor School District, which is in the Southern Tier. And I really spent my whole life working in those schools and served on a school board for about 8 years, president of the board. Really just have a passion for schools like yours, where the school is being so tied towards schools. But I also involved. I actually graduated from the district and fairly recently, almost 2 years ago, I became a parent, which is when I really started to become interested in our school. My kids less interested now, but I'm a grandparent. And I'm really what that's going to look like. I've already mapped out well over teachers preparing voluntary transfers and all those things. And I joke about that. It's heavily on me as I think about what are those experiences that I had, what are the experiences my kids had, and now what do we get? So, as you look at this process, you can see what the 6 steps are for reorganization. Where we are tonight is the end of this 5-month as part of step 2. We start to say, what information is there? And really, what we've tried to do is say there are 3 questions to answer. In terms of our charge of the group model, I'll introduce the work on this, was not to make a recommendation. Ours was not to say what should we do, because these are your districts, your communities, this is your identity. But we really want to say, if you were to consolidate, then would you in fact educational experiences? You're going to hear about what the team found with regard to. Will you see optimal organizational capacity? What will that look like if you were to become a consolidated merged district? And then what would the long-term financial sustainability look like with that? That's your questions that we were attempting to. But this team does not have a course. There's no agenda other than saying, here's the. And so, as Ben said, here, throughout the process, and hundreds of voices that heard was have a process that also we're here in August funds this site before, trying to be both deliberative, really trying to be thoughtful, a team of folks that are challenging, pushing each other, staying transparent, and what we found is secret and responsive to what is resulted is, as Matt alluded to, a really comprehensive document. So, about 100 pages. We're now going to review. So, there's a whole lot of detail. This is not based on opinions. There's a lot of opinions and a lot of analysis synthesis of that. But again, the gravity of the decision that your boards and your communities need to make is really not us. So what we really tried to do was put together a team of people that could take this comprehensive. So as I was thinking about it, we have like 220 years of educational experience. A little bit sad that piece. So we have a group of folks. There are 5 either sitting or former superintendents, a business official that city operated business office, those 15 school districts, budget our business offices. We have Matt, who's a superintendent in our schools. Scott Bishop, not only was a superintendent in a rural school, but also superintendent in region through conversations like this in his postings and has worked in a number of districts. Since that time, Kai's Hote Laura, who was not only a superintendent through a merger, but has done extensive studying process in New York State across the country, and then was served as executive at the Department of Education. Ziegler being known and brings that experience. Got Evans, who just recently superintendent of the newly merged districts. Gone through this process, his own community. Again, Black, most recently was the founder for the new Tito's business office, but was a component of business official rural district as they went through another study as well. So really, we tried to put together a team of people, not only experience working in schools like yours, but also have walked through this process in a variety of ways. So we think that the report that was prepared really brings all that experience and all those perspectives to the table. And so look forward to getting each of the things. They're at a very high level. With that, thank you. And we know that it's not about us. We also know that they need to know that it didn't just They didn't just fly us from the, rest stop there on the freeway and computer, right? Walk through it. But it really became how our process worked about the environment. That monthly, try to bring them, I'll get some information, try to make sure that they can push back, they can ask questions, they can say, about this, how about that? And right through the end, so we see some of these insights that we're talking about, some of the opportunities, the challenges, with and through society of your community. This is work to do. This is very fundamental process. Thing you're doing. So we appreciate all of their work, their partners with us in this. We try to let it grow by bringing them, but we managed to make sure that they're turning through it, making sure that they get their thoughts. Again, just process-wise, we activated in June, had a couple thought exchanges, that shared some information about. We then started every month looking at different areas of this, leading to where we are today, at final report, that's setting our funds, and delivering this final report to you. And as Dave just mentioned, say, yeah, they will then work process if there's a decision to go over. With that being said, I'm going to Dave has some educational experiences, give some highlights on.
I know many. I also have a full on time. But I am a few years ago as planning. So I know the community well. So I had a bit of a start order also. And again, long before he became superintendent. So yeah, for me to carry on some conversation with folks. My primary purpose, I am not better with this. And you know, but part of this, I also had to look at, you know, districts themselves, somebody way from not but passion, all of those like, right? Look at the reaching out the person God. There was a lot of similarity. And so I tried to look at this programmatic. And you have a desire farm like it is home, not perspective, but just because it's possible. And I have this idea that the program so much better. In the document, just go quickly into one. In the document, I have course catalog. Course catalog is and they're massive. Right? The amount of courses that you take off. In that same document, actually, then there's class size associated. And I really think the opportunities that you're providing the opportunities could be so much greater. Because in some cases, the class size and it was an interesting where I was like, that's all. Programmatic offers. I think there's some. Yep, you know, opportunity to look at that. And you're both struggling. But part of that also has. Okay, not only the programs. Part of when you take a look at buying stuff, buying house, for I think those are opportunity to collaborate from a side out. You have really hard development. Got you. So the opportunity to grow. But there are challenges. There are challenges. Anytime we look at this, look at it from this challenge perspective. You have some organization. My district had a middle school. You have a K-6 program. You have a K-5 program. And so those are options. Those are certification. Always try to come back. Challenge the opportunity. Right? For how it is. I say that because this opportunity there. That's how we should be. What can how can we get more? Well, pathways to graduation, what that graduation is supposed to look like. All of the challenges. Yes, just like we did with sports. Right, you heard sports. Yeah, right. I don't think that emerged in a teaching plan or school. The advantages is really outweighed. So you have a challenge. Report by as I don't know. Not only was year, well, maybe, but in that report, you're going to see a lot of terms. A lot of in the way we do it, way we understand. And we want to the lens of what is this going to do? And I think you're going to be able to come to a decision. Whatever it is. That goes die. Thank you.
Next, we are going to be much process. Yeah, you want? Yeah. We're going to finish. Yeah, finish first. Yeah, absolutely. Here you go. Couple more, and then yes.
Thank you. As Jason mentioned, I'm got this the most recently merged back in the summer, so I lived through all the stuff that you guys have been talking about the last several months, and the part of my plan is to look for organization accident. What each district has and what it would look like if you combine those resources. So some of the insights this are there's economy of scale by doing things together. All of those consolidated efforts lead to greater efficiencies, maintenance area, there's some neat things in each district, engineering and energy management. This is work that can be done for that to, enhance things everywhere. But looked at everything from buildings to transportation to staff and, kind of what can we do? Some of the opportunities that come out of this. So transportation, that's always a big thing. You look at districts combined, that fleet of buses that potentially allow you to restructure your routes to enhance shorter ride times, and providing a better family. We have very talented and very unique staff in both buildings. Utilizing that excellent professional resource to enhance and improve the opportunities for kids, lower staff ratios, expanding programs that are really available, and like Jeff was talking, get into those other things in that course catalog that aren't offered that much because you don't have a student population to do it. Something that all recently rural school districts struggle with is faculty recruitment and retention. Combining resources, engaging different collective bargaining, agreements could strengthen position as a merged district, allowing the ability to attract high quality staff. And some of the challenges associated with this. The idea of combining districts, emotional component, both communities involved. So from the staff and the school culture side, blending those things, challenge, purposeful, it needs to be thought out, but it's very doable. The other piece is that community identity. We have very proud communities, very proud school districts, a thoughtful, purposeful process on how to bring up lot of traditions and things that are sacred to each district in a combined district. And the last piece is that balanced communication. This process that we went through has been open, there's been lots of people involved, and that needs to continue. But that is one of the challenges, making sure that all of those next steps are very transparent, really communicating. Thank you, and I will pass it on to Jack.
Thank you. I usually when we get to the finance part of it, conversation over, so there purposely are no numbers on the slides. And I think they put me as the last component I can build off of educational opportunities, organizational capacity. So, when I first began looking at district selection, striking setting to districts from state aid to taxes, every element that Jason mentioned, I had experience with a lot of different districts, and all of them very, very similar. So, both districts are very sound position. We have very simple and comparable records. Your taxes are new. So, very differences could be adjusted, very easily. And with the availability of $56 million for operating aid, that's an invaluable opportunity for us as sort of educational that check box just a few minutes. Regardless of whether or not district you decide there's an ongoing leverage that has been initiated in this process. And so I think that will continue, further strengthening resources that are available to the districts and fostering. But financial sustainability in districts is supported by several communities. And, one of those is that active tax rate management. So your tax is close. So we want to, make sure that it's time that it's kept. Positions could be. While a significant influx of reorganization is going to be balanced programs, students. So it will also allow planning on a financial basis and capital basis, so that decisions to ensure that stability and growth over time. And the potential for new spaces offers fresh opportunities as a result of already mentioned service programs that we have, and Washington costs, revenue sources, and further strengthen financial positions and create more efficient operations. These factors will contribute to sustainable and thriving. Oh, and a new venture that comes challenges. One of the key challenges or issues that we have to address is that property does have a final last 14 years. And so there has to be something that happens as that revenue source is off and ultimately expires. So we have to resist temptation to add programs or initiatives that are unsustainable that support. And we have to spend some time integrating. It's also mentioned collective bargaining agreements, employment. We have to work through in a merged district. Finally, space is really crucial. And so, like Jack mentioned, he said, told it issue. So one of the things that caution is that reorganization opportunity sent to pay for tax changes, and that waves over time. So we want to maintain that strong tax base. Financial response. Sure.
When I first met with the, he explained yeah, we also story. It's been done. Well, but what I said, I had involved 6 schools. Is that this isn't about isn't about any division. This is about the future of our children and our community. And what can these two well-established schools together? They can't do. Again, we're not doing what we should do. Your decision, your children, your communities, next hours. But through investigation in its place or some months, we demonstrate prove how stronger together and future children, communities, in just by sheer ability to offer educational program. And the ability to New York State is historic. We live right forward state through it. Fashion, migration, industry based. Coursework that for children gives you the opportunity to be much more competitive. New students that are much more leave school and go right into those high-paying jobs, not having many things. We have the ability for future focus, school district, capitalize on long-term sustainability to provide it for students. I encourage you to consider all of the pros and cons, like three columns, just describe where the institute, where the challenges, but the focus. What are the benefits for your children, you going forward? Thinking it $30 be able to work effective and efficient.
My name is Scott. And the part that I want to talk about is our community involvement. This is something new to feasibility studies. Previous feasibility studies, you don't find a lot of opportunity to get the whole community involved. It's typically just the advisory. But with this study, we ran two different thought exchanges, one in August and one in October, looking for feedback or looking for information from the community. And then we involved that information into our study. We weren't surprised that the four items that come up are taxation, what's the impact on taxes, transportation, will our kids be on buses for longer, class sizes, will class sizes go up to a level that are unreasonable. And the fourth one is typically community identity. We found those, all four of those, in the thought exchanges. And we hope that the work that we did was answer for three of those. We couldn't answer for community identity. You're the group that has to communities to, but certainly the transportation, the taxation, and our class sizes are addressed in the study. Secondly, we used focus groups that were mentioned earlier. We had two focus groups with a mix of community members, staff members, and then the third one was the focus group with the students. Really eye-opening for folks from that group, and there are some that are here, that mostly from the students. We were looking forward to it, as we always are, get a chance to talk to students, and they did let us know. So a lot of good information from that, a lot of good information from the other. The other piece that you will find regarding that community is the Q&A. Those questions that came from our advisory committee and from others that we included, you'll find those in that community involvement section as well. So thank you for hosting us in our work in the district. Thanks. But we bring our presentation part of the what we want to be as direct as we can is we try to order the battle. We have access to it. Don't need to come here for 2 hours. Try to just get the highlights. And then the last step is summarize in our opinion where we've gone and where we've got things we look at. If we were to move forward, we can answer yes to those big models that
would. Other share, those things, you would have an opportunity. And you're all separately, you can try those. Sorry. Put together. Organizational capacity, again, letting us right now. Go out to just as one concrete example, or post for a map. Whatever. Two schools, you're competing against each other. Just even as one example, being one school trying to integrate groups would have better competition. Long-term financial sustainability, again, strong financial situations. Frankly, that's atypical of these types of conversations. Types of conversations often are one or both schools really needing the finances and not necessarily moving the educational experience. Those come, but it was really good right back. From day one, we divided, said, like, that's not the situation. You're in a really good place, had a healthy, focused, important conversation and consideration of where we go. Again, community support is the whole next kind of piece once the report out and later. Why is the screen can go up? We'll be here to answer questions. Listening, great.
You ask questions and make comments. You have discussion about what we're ready to go ahead. Each board is there. The struggle. So please,
So those are the Fort Plain, pretty good reason why I'm sitting out here. So anybody got help back up? Well, let's see. Move around. See. So at your seats, board members. I have this. What essentially we need to move through tonight. So first thing, after you have an opportunity to propose any question you had for authors, I would that bottom section on what your next step would be and what it is you consider here tonight. But for now, turn around and speak to the members here. You will have opportunities, great opportunities, to speak with your school district leadership, self, both if the decisions are moved to Charlotte, there will be a number of community forums. Tonight, this Board of Education is held in the public, Board of Business, Board of Community, posing questions. So,
students' educational experience.
Scott, I'm sure you submitted, but, framework of Scott was throughout the advisory committee conversation, all came up of, well, we talked about there being more opportunities, but what would those opportunities be? Right? This is delicate balance that we do as part of the process. No decisions are made now, what that new board of education. If that down the road happens, that's actually where all the concrete decisions are made. So what we did is we gathered and said, all right, well, look, if we started building two districts, bringing them together, what are the things that need to happen? That's part of also. How can these got another section look at reason why to do it? Sure.
This is about what we know what it is. It study does a really good job of demonstrating what both engineering and along. But it also allows us to dream what we can, what could be from those three aspects. What educational opportunities could the two districts, if they decided to work together, what would the organizational plans two districts be in comparison to what's happening in the two individual districts states now? And although it's stated that you're both fine, interesting, how much longer could yes, the single school in terms of the finances and sustainability and control over the long term. To Matt's point, the decisions finance are made by a new board of education. The day before, before even through the vision is present what is possible. What could the new district be much more effective and efficient forming one district? As for the district superintendent, this region, as I read section meetings from my perspective, hell, what I saw in Sky section in particular was an opportunity for you to build and find programs to change conditions in the state or graduate and the new requirements that are there to require different considerations and types of strategies to deliver the expectations to provide the opportunities to students to meet those expectations. We actually had a discussion today at the superintendent's meeting about striving recommendations in there for your district, for taking a look at it and saying, these are the types of things that could be considered as we plan together throughout meet those requirements. Any other questions? So I just want to clarify the question. Housing instead of maintenance. Sure. So there are two cases. So obviously, the new board makes sense. But there are two ways that the merger has been spent in the past. One is to focus on control, not necessarily more, controlling access going forward and enhancing program for students and not giving the money. This is the thing, it's so bad. By giving the money to adults, we're giving the money to kids. Districts that focus on using the incentive to focus on the needs of children, needs programming, better professional learning opportunities, bringing in more faculty and staff to have a more efficient organization that can provide those opportunities for students are able to be set up for a 14-year period. Yeah, sustainable. There are other districts that have spent money in two major ways. Drastically lower the tax, and quite frankly, trying to find ways to level up the contract. Now, in this instance, it's not really that leveling up isn't a because we're two agreements are pretty close. That isn't focused, but in other reorganizations where one district is the salary and benefits higher than another, money is used for that it's really a great investment and you won't have to worry about it in your particular instance, which is a great benefit. So spending the money, implementing a long-term financial plan is going to support the education program, takes into account human resources, capital, and technology ramifications of those systems will allow the district to sustain far beyond.
I just got a little bit, some of the first slides to say how similar the districts are is really the key to that. So districts, when they approach mergers and have vastly different tax rates, the net incentive often goes to try to equalize so that you're not having, because I'm going to support a merger. So in some mergers where there's a vastly different tax rate, that incentive goes to level that. The other piece that is similar programs, so again, salaries and benefits. One district, again, great fiscal condition, but also your programs. And it's to be able to say, we're not giving one out of the whole year. In terms of that, what happens to the sectors? It's very similar to just living through this with the federal, right? Was, just a couple of years. Well, those districts that use incentive aid or recurring costs that are always going to be there, well, funding, it's just a longer years versus 2 years with those COVID reliefs. So that's part of the whole idea of money and is the leveling piece, but also making sure that we don't spend at this level. We know we're going to get a drop off. So what's that for the future? Across the state, some of them are very up, and some of them not. It's up. Now we're in trouble. The other thing, I think one of the things that is happening, it's like worse than mine, is that we have really tried to survive. How do we maintain a solid program and sort that rugged individualism that we have? We're going to get into this a lot. But what we say to schools like words in mind is, if we all get home, well, we were that district is bigger. Well, of course they are able to stay problems. Blue sky communities. What if that's us? What if it's not? The district would a lot more resources because we would have a lot more resources. What if we were a bigger district? What would we do? That's not yet to answer that. what if thinking. And the report, there's thoughts, but the what if conversation would really to file as to what that.
I want to add one last piece to, you know, when we get set today and educational money comes in, something that's critically important is to think about your service. So as you know, organization has, there's lots of government services that if you combine are going to be consolidated, there can be cost savings associated with that. And with this new law set today, we're allocating a portion of those funds to maximize your reserves. So you get to that 14-year period, but you still have some of that aid that's going to last out beyond 14 years to continue financial stability. John touched on very it's that should we move forward with the shuttle border education. And it's that border, these initial decisions that lead some of that. And no, two different things like, oh, different spots, just in sheer events. They're very strategic. Maybe strategic spend this money. That's it's structure. Rather than spend one-time money on current costs, maybe you spend one-time money and extend it. Big part of that something is about transportation. Transportation, spend that money once. How those to be a big part of that decision. It's a strategic purpose to your rate. Spend that money or you spend money on another one. That's all school board and their administration's responsibility.
Would you repeat that? So, with the street population level, and for increased support staff to provide supervision.
Yeah, so we explore that. Things to be all defined. But you can kind of pop back up. Too much bigger than some of these buildings that I've seen way back, right? Like this building right here, built for a considerable amount more students than, you know, what will populate with, presuming different grade. The reorganization also is exactly that purpose. Right? If you perceive a challenge, like an issue, class size, then that's what the aid is help to get you over the hump. Whether it be the blue sky or these challenges, it's really easy. Think of this more in a business sense. Essentially, what the state is doing is providing startup funding for a new endeavor. And my business mind, as a conference, how do you love somebody to give you multi-million dollars to start a new endeavor? Right? Without aid, it would help in getting to address this. So I think we will have enough resources that as that transition plan, really think about this situation is by design, you all decided in how you place the study and where we're going, that you have a very long transition. Right? It's not just a couple of months. If you were to proceed somewhat forward this spring, you could have a year to create committees and more transition planning, make sure some of that fine tuning of a specific grade level, a specific wherever. How do we make sure we have the right support team? Lastly, by combining, you will also have more and different administrative support, social work support. Like again, we can't recommend that what will happen,
go through the report, thank you, Scott, thank you, housing board, you look at the organization capacity, so you have opportunities. Right now, many of your administrators, many of your teachers, many of your support personnel have a bunch of slashes or playthings or additional duties that is given to them by right in school. Because they're trying to do a lot. That extra capacity will have the opportunity to support the student and staff really significantly. Right, look on my face, wasn't sure I quite understood. We're looking for their staff.
Yeah, I think it was like a double or all the time. Not getting things like that. They were there. What does the scale both of our
So, my experience in a lot in building the was that we already ratio of students to adults. It's brought that together for those reasons. So we were able to provide same level supervision, same level of support, not instruction, without having to increase the labor force. It's steady. They're in the and then we're able to say, oh, there's a gap. By and large, we were able to consistently labor force provide the same level of supervision. We able instructions was to provide many more in terms of if you're reading, if you're writing, EIS 16 through 12, additional foreign language opportunities, additional science and math, right? Those opportunities. So we saw an increase on the instructional side and on level. Okay, answer your question. Yeah. Ready?
The difficult type of having. Really coming together. Less than that awful. I think all those fixing certain reasons though. A job and plan. They're really looking to hire us. Coming together.
On my ones, and I hope I just feel it across the board. Here, so deeply by this project, Jeff and I, I was thinking about scheduling supervision still. And as I'm thinking about more times of it, but maybe time scale that kicks in, still have the same number of lunch periods, you're gonna have more, actually more supervisors. And again, those some of these is a bit of a faith what will happen. First, yes, first was the pioneer high school principal. I used to kind of spaces where I felt like I had to supervise them, but what's going on in small. Bigger. So it's going to be up to the new districts. Decisions to operate. Another question. You could take a look now. That I distributed to you. You do have a strong resolution that it's I consider. And under that area, I just put some bullet points that hopefully will help you really understand what this entails. Each board will consider an active resolution to schedule an informal assessment for support of combining districts. This is commonly referred to as strong. First from the bullet, this strong vote should decide to schedule it is not binding. In other words, it does not by mission. Multiple opportunities will be scheduled by Nick, Lauren, and their teams, and guys, you can support those to have a conversation, digging deeper to the report, to try to figure out if are the benefits worth moving forward with this or not. If the strong vote is conducted, it indicates majority of voters in each district in favor of combining districts. Then it's my job as supervisor district superintendent to communicate that relegation acting through Office of Education. This is where it's so long. I wish to start. Happens to be in statute. There are two statutory commissions that will be required after the affirmative struggle that we have to submit to the commission. One requests the commission to call a special meeting by commissioners to vote on the proposed compensation. That means commissioner calls for a finding, which result of which would either say yes, centralized district, no, continue as you are. Second petition for each district designates each district as a special election district and establishes a voting site in each existing district. Common sense, if you have a vote whether you want to merge, each district has to come up with majority of votes forward. In the original legislation, it's I don't think any report with this whole so that's typically what happens. The commissioner then works the second vote to consider merging districts into a centralized district. That's on the line. Then the second vote occurs weeks after the struggle. Things. It is the binding vote to centralized school district or centralized school district. So you have the opportunity right now. Consider your resolution. Prior to doing that, if you have any questions about this process, I also have the folks that I communicate with at the department and answer any questions if there are about the struggle. Questions? Will ask. Consider struggle. Support me. Consider statement. Got a whole lot done in the last year and 2 weeks. So, again, this doesn't mean that districts are voting, are, again, perspectives. I agree with you again. Considering what's best for your communities in children, spend there, we've seen a lot more rain out.
Well, I signed the paper when I came in here that said I was going to have an opportunity to begin public comment. What are you on? Because of this, I don't believe it's for this. I don't believe it's for. There's no board. Board meeting. It's going to be their board meeting. Each should go to board meeting as well. No. Right now, they have proposed this meeting, and Jerry will open their meeting for May 2nd. Want to speak to Jerry or not? So the move just, they're going to go do their business. I'm going to start. Two school districts. We get that. I'm considering it. They both need that. If the combined school district, any true. The example is this year, that will be right now, is absolutely. So there's no further. In this, it is a sales. Make everything. Yes, that question, yes. The question. You did some of the questions. So, or they actually. There's 2 baseball teams, 2 softball teams, 4 track. 1 baseball, 1 softball, 2 track. You will be able to. There are 2 streets. No way, world. Look at your life. Participating. They more separate districts for the enforcement. If anyone is There are so many like this local does not. So, who are the programs, our education programs, special activity, sport. We are constantly all these local that you combine with students, you can work together as districts. I can do a single thing. I will see it, it's all done. So I don't understand. Well, not what I think.
Hi, good evening, my name is Michael Kelly, both teachers, the areas, involved, and, one of the reasons I'm here is energy area for the school. I like this levels, and I think some more better than all I like. Oh,
Yeah.
but, I had a couple questions, what about education, what about programming, talk about? So I'll start with the education one. How do you coordinate those who start to show the most rapidly at a 6-year-old, 4-year-old, time of their day? So how is it we can look at transportation, look at to alleviate some of that? I know that was a big one to come in all of various forms of media. Transportation study is done as part of the program. What will it depend on district? Okay. My other question about programs is how does this transportation fit into the urban context? State ad push sharing services, and did local districts have a conversation about already sharing services in various districts? And those discussions are already happening. What's the benefit of having services, shared services? And is it something where we're doing something here, shared services that the contract around with, districts? Financially, how can this maintain the expand program? $56 billion a month. But at the end of that run, you're going to have to be able to fund the programs that you're going to offer students with the tax base at that time. And we're betting on, the next 14 years, that's great that. That doesn't come through that. And lastly, when we merge districts, what is done in regards to state aid department, the amount of state aid that each district receives? Currently, each district receives out of the donate some budget. Is the merged district going to get both piles of money together, or the state going to reach out to the aid, and what does that have to affect? If that is both merger money, does that affect by those districts?
As I explained in the public comment section, you don't have to stop. Right. President Meeting, we'd like to follow up with questions that were not. Dr. Fitzgerald led when it came involved. Sometimes we have joint meetings where he and I would meet with him as well to discuss the issues and that.
I would say that these consider an executive conversation. Well,
Did I trust? I apologize. Fine. Okay, I trust. Probably more than probably. Sure, you're, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, cool. These two school districts are. Yeah. Well, we work, yeah. 85. I have to go. What we're. Big, they're not. I don't. Because, you know, it's been a long. I don't think about it. I don't. You can't hear me. They're all right. What we. It didn't. Still the same people. You're. Oh, oh. You were worried. Fire. So Jim giving up. Understand it, that's not working. And hopefully, you can actually see what we're doing. Because what they have, may not be here 6, 7, 8 years. With the stock. You have the opportunity to build a minimum fund. To keep your children in the district and get an education. So, moving forward, thank you. Thank you.
It will be held on 25th from 7 p.m. to 9. It's only it's tomorrow, $20. Why is this part? Is this because we all weekly files and accounts each grade is going for their own grades. So years or next week will be from the 21st to 20th. It's all the time, so they have a trust we can. I know that a lot of the there's sports, unfortunately, everybody plays was back in PTA and senior night for eleven and gators. I don't know. But they next Thursday in the broken match. We also got match today. Yesterday we had a being out, pulled this out, but it's being no longer has a practice. Here's Peyton. A lot of them doing that. Really the beginning of the season and now. Yeah, that's really all I have. Oh, juniors had a fun sale. I saw one worksheet where they sold like at least 20 months. So it's pretty. And another.
Thank you, Rob.
Surgery. And I talked to the speak. Work out. That's so he during color probably started. Got vote started from here. Excited about my dad. We know it's gonna be. That we're going to circle order action where it is very close to property. Citizens will order before that. And there, as so, it's going to be one inside.
We can have a question further. I think, feasibility study. Science fiction, one of the things that we're looking forward to, there will be a series of forums and meetings for people to, ask questions, or body, or positive, advantage that might come up around. Very important. So get that information to the thing, to inform decision. What's their schedule and all of that, but just that.
So I thought this brought up, which I vote, something that down for, our community to be able to vote. And it's not my decision, not any of our decisions, but I want to feel that everybody in our community should have the ability to go for or against this. Either way, but I think the discussion. So your hand brought up a very important. I do know there are some opportunities that Fort Plain can get from us. I think there are some that we could get from Fort Plain, like start. Or it doesn't have much, so it'd be better to know. I understand about sports teams, but it's sports in my life. It's all. And we're not really at. And I think that's have like 10 more people on the team. We had to give up on the. But that's kind of what happened. And we still are team. So I'm just kidding. I didn't remember that. When we launched by, we had a science speech, we launched by brought so hard. We never got that. And so we have a class. Never ever. And I remember watching TV and seeing, I think it was Miss Nina talk about how to watch their Chinese class. Like, how do you do that? You would never get it. There was 5 teachers, and our kids suffered. At times, and they're saying, see, our kids have the opportunity, that never happened. And I just want to struggle, get it out there.
Are similar to next week. That is all we want to do. A lot of them over that. Some implementation. Perfect. Georgia, I think. I got it.
So, that is
Which one, so,
No, we want to wait. There. Strength. Before life. It'll be more about making sure it's our questionable loss.
I think when rules have less meeting, so separately, I will dedicate and consider the other CJ. And there, minutes. In order to favor. Steve. Favor to put on to Bill. Yeah. 6:12, maybe other. The 66. That's not that concerns me. The 66 file stands capital.
Boiler services repair.
Wonder what that cost. And then finally, on-call generally contract. Okay, $417,000 transfer plus.
This is just, I think this was the work that I was.
And what they explained, basically, she just puts about money in each month, of the bill. Stating. And I so that is by service someone, some of the other. Against individuals. The town, and we had foundation is involved. And we would consider some $11,000 fund.
Candidates are. Because they short, they finish.
So it's what,
Get out there. We're really good for their finance. It's a much different program.
and then we have. And we have.
Yes. Put through all the profile. Computers.
All in favor? Meeting. We have.